How do you know when it's time to upgrade to a mesh Wi-Fi network at your house? In this video, I'll go over my thoughts and when I transitioned from a standalone single unit router to a more sophisticated mesh network setup. When I was first considering moving away from a single router and getting into a mesh network, I was very concerned about cost, how complex it would be to set up, and if it was really worth the effort and the money. 10 years ago, I made the jump and I have not looked back, and I do not regret it one bit. So the way that I figured out that it was time to move to a mesh network was that I had one router, and depending on where you were in the house, the internet would be so bad that the device that I was using, so the phone at the time, couldn't get any signal. Or I was getting, 1/10 of the internet that I was paying for. So it was a situation where it's like, this can't be my internet, because if I, plug straight into the router, it goes, maximum speed for that connection on the outside, the WAN side. So it's, well, what's going on here? And you can walk around the house. There's a whole bunch of different apps. I like Wi-Fi products from Ubiquiti, so there's a thing called Wi-Fi Man, which will actually let you make a 3D heat map of your house, and it really helps you figure out where to put your access point, or points in my case now. So I would say if you are having issues where especially if you're posted up in your house somewhere. A few years ago, I was living in a place that I swear it was made out of concrete and corrugated steel. And I only had one access point at the time, and it was a rental, so I couldn't, drill holes and run cables. And it was kind of old. So because it was made out of concrete, since I only had one access point, I spent hours trying to figure out where I needed to put the thing to actually get it to work. And then that was the time that I ended up, now I have 2 access points in this particular property. There was one in one room because the corrugated steel really was a big hamper on the Wi-Fi. So it was something where, okay, I got one in this room, then I'm gonna have one on the stairs, which did a mediocre job of getting upstairs, but it was a rental. I didn't feel like making a custom cable. Making a custom cable to run a cable run from the front to the back of the house, and then have an access point in the front and an access point in the back, is what I've been doing at my current rental. It's been working quite well. The cable looks a bit heinous, but I have a very clean exit when I want to leave. So the transition point for me was when I had people over and they were complaining about internet, or I was trying to work from home and the signal integrity was so bad in this house, I had to do something different. So I didn't, at this point, want to run a cable and try to run. I really needed 2 things, right? I really needed 2 access points. So there are mesh networks you can run without running cables between them. I haven't had particularly good success with them. I would love, if you have a product that you like that does mesh networks without having to run network cables between them, I would love to hear it in the comments below, because I haven't seen one that's actually good. I'd love to hear about one. I've only been exposed to a few different ones over the years, and they've all been mediocre at best. So I would say just running some network cables, or a single network cable between the front and the back, or the bottom to the top of the house, and then running a second access point, so you get your mesh network going, and you don't have to go crazy and get some super ridiculously expensive ones like you'd see at a school or something. You don't have to do that. You could go with something a lot more affordable. If you want to check out, I actually have a video for setting up a Wifi network controller. So Wifi is the stuff that I've been running for 10 years in a whole bunch of different networks with my family, several different houses, my house and several different, my setup in several different houses over the years. So I'm very familiar with setting it all up. I find it to be pretty much bulletproof after you get it all set up. And it's been working very, very reliably. You can set up multiple guest networks, so you have different Wi-Fi things. So I have my Wi-Fi lights, I have them on their own separate VLAN because I don't trust them. So there's lots of cool things you can start to do there. It really takes you from the purely consumer network products. I would call it prosumer. So it's not the professional stuff. Like I'm not telling you to go like get Cisco routers or anything. So I would say somewhere like Ubiquiti's Unify range is where I like to hang out because it's not outrageously expensive, but it definitely has enough of those like professional features and speeds to where it's worth the cost and effort, especially because the stuff lasts a really long time. Because a lot of it, there's no fans, so there's literally no spinning parts to fail. So the things are quite high reliability. I've actually never had any issues in the 4 or 5 networks I've built personally. So what do you think? Are you running one single router or are you running multiple access points in your space? I'd love to hear in the comments below, and I'll catch you at the next one.